the live stream session with Phrankleen. If you're watching these as a playback, thank you for doing so. If you're watching this for the first time, thank you for stopping by. Right. So for those that are watching me for the first time, this is the segment called Say It Like It Is, where we talk about pretty much eclectic topics, topics that span across everyday life. So people send me their stories to foodchannel1960@gmail.com. Look in the description below and send me your stories, all right? If they resonate with me, I use them for a live stream session like this or pre-recorded content. Happy New Year, Happy New Year. Happy New Year wherever you are. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2022 once again. I hope everyone is enjoying their holiday. You had a good time, you had a good break. If you can hear me, you can see me, smash the like button. Happy New Year. Do you feel energetic? Do you feel prepared for the brand new year? What's going on, Rita? What's up? What's going on, good people? Happy New Year from Ikeja. Happy New Year from the UK, man. So anyways, this is my first video this year, and it's actually two stories in one, two stories, but without taking much of your time, we talk about this very quickly, straight to the point, and then I'll add a similar one to it as we crack on. Happy New Year to everybody. So this lady, married with, before we crack on, hey, Common Sense Sisters, Happy New Year, everybody. This episode is sponsored by Adron Homes and Properties. I've got a fantastic relationship with Adron Homes and Properties, a fantastic real estate company in Nigeria. Some of you have known that for a minute. So let's start the new year with a bang, all right? So basically, they allow you to own assets in Nigeria, already built apartments as well as, lands across Nigeria. So you can buy your land outrightly, or you can buy and pay in installments across 6 months, 12 months, or 24 months. At the moment, they've got fantastic deals, up to 50% discount, going on. So if you want, send an email to me at foodchannel1960@gmail.com. Look in my description below, this description of this YouTube video. All you gotta say is, hi, Phrankleen, I'm interested in the Adron Homes and Properties, land offering in Nigeria. Please send me an application pack and I'll send it to you straight away, okay? So, yeah, that's that. It's wonderful if you're a diasporan, particularly you're contemplating on, owning assets back home and stuff. It's one of the flexible means for you. I've got a great partnership with them. So what's Frankleen's role? You're not paying me a dime. You'll be paying directly to the business account of the company should you decide to own lands, okay? My job, I'm the guy in between. I'm sort of like your agent. So you come to me, complete the application form, you provide the necessary documentations and ID and all that stuff, and I'll basically liaise with the relevant department to make sure everything runs smoothly in your favor, all right? And then once you're done paying for your land, I'll make sure you get all corresponding and relevant documentations. And if you've got any questions, you can bombard me with your questions. I'll answer them for you, all right? Does that make sense? So bang me an email to foodchannel1960@gmail.com. Look in the description below. By the way, my email address will change very, very soon, in a couple of weeks, to something a lot more professional, all right? Because some of you have been on my case about, oh, Phrankleen, the Food Channel 1960, but because I've had that for a while, that's why I'm still using it. But when we change the email address, I'll let you know. Thank you, Rita, for the wonderful feedback. Oh, fantastic. Common Sense Sisters. That's the email address. All right. So let's crack on with the story now. So it's basically the story of a lovely couple. They are based somewhere in Kent, the United Kingdom, here. And they've got a couple of kids. both husband and wife, educated, had good jobs or have good jobs and all that. So they're living in a nice area, Kent. Now, as you know, the pandemic happened, affected a ton of people, right? And does Adron Homes have a website? Absolutely. Just bang me an email, Peter, and I'll send you the application pack and all the information that you need. You can also ask me questions, all right? Send me an email and I'll send you everything that you need. So anyway, they live in Kent, and both of them had great jobs and the usual template of a lovely family. They live in their lives. So anyways, so down the line somewhere, this was prior to the pandemic and all that. They weren't doing bad. Things were great. Husband, wife knew that he had a reasonable amount of, sizable amount of savings that he had accrued from his decent professional line of, employment. And then the wife too, not doing bad, with savings and all that. The long and short, lovely family, they're doing good. Now, in came the pandemic. And one of the major impacts of the pandemic is it absolutely shattered the dynamics of a lot of, people's lives, family structures, and particularly finance. It destabilized a lot of people. That's facts. As we speak, this is 2022, January, people are still struggling to stay afloat, and some people are out of work. It had a devastating, effect or impact on some people. If you're doing good, you're doing well, you've managed to survive, I'm grateful for you. Thanks to the universe that you're doing good. But overall, it's affected so many people and still affecting so many lives adversely. Now, this story is fairly straightforward. So in came the pandemic. Guy, this woman's husband, was in a slightly lengthy contract that gave them some kind of assurance. When you have a lengthy contract, I think what it allows for people to do is they're able to plan their finances, and they can know that, oh, I'm going to be on this particular contract for maybe a year or whatever, 9 months. You already know I'm going to get X amount of money on a monthly basis. I'm going to do this and that. And it gives a bit more, particularly for those that are into contracting, it gives a bit more confidence and all that. Now, as the pandemic, swept in, they kind of changed the husband's, role to working from home, as he affected a lot of people. So the long and short was the organization just at some point made a top level decision and it pulled plugs on the project. And they gave them the devastating news that, the project had to stop, everyone had to bugger off. Now, wife too, unfortunately, well, before the husband, wife was working too and all that. So the husband lost his job, and they weren't supposed to be, do badly. But husband, prior to all of this unfolding, had gone into some so-called investment with like 3 of his friends. Like a lot of people, investment was meant to be something that will bring them X amount of money. I don't have the details of the so-called investment, but these 3 of his friends, they've got these bonds, they all into professional fields and they've grown up together. They're not doing exactly bad. So they had put a chunk of money into something that they strongly believed will give them X amount of huge return, right? So the long and short was the investment went sideways. So this guy lost a huge chunk of his savings. So of course, he had concealed that from his wife. I think the mindset of the brother was, I'm going to make it big and I'm just going to be like, baby, surprise. I did these with the boys, we did that. And then boom, 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 boom. I've made X amount of thousands of pounds. And then it's basically a case of popping champagne and celebrating, right? But unfortunately, things went sideways. Not just him, the other three friends, four of them, they lost thousands of pounds. Now add that to the job loss. So whilst they were scrambling to survive, he's lost his contract. He's doing his best to get remote roles. Things were not clicking in terms of getting another role. And any professional online would agree with me. The job market can be, quite competitive, except if you are like up there and then they're headhunting for you, whereby the recruiters are actually chasing you and stuff. You can enjoy smooth sailing at that level. And also, with the pandemic, like I keep saying, so it changed the dynamics of Audrey, Happy New Year. Hit the like button if you can hear me, please. Smash that like button. So anyways, they're struggling. So the wife, according to the story, put a hat on, a thinking hat on, and started looking at ways where they can cut back. Because when husband opened up and said, babe, I put X amount of money into blah, blah, blah investment. So of course the wife was like, yikes, you didn't tell me, blah, blah, blah. Of course, argument broke down, exacerbated the situation that they were already struggling, and all that led to fracas, led to arguments, more devastation and sadness, within the family. Bear in mind, they got kids. You can imagine the tension. Finance plays a major role. Everybody likes security. Any woman out there, well-meaning woman, would sleep easy at night knowing that, you're bringing your stuff to the table. But if you know your man is not doing bad, you've got something to fall back upon, a security for the family, particularly with finance, at least you're safe in the hands of your man, right? Within the confines of your union, right? So imagine you finding out your man has lost virtually everything, and you have all this. And the woman specifically said, before all of this happened, one of the big expenditure that they dipped their hands into, they had a massive renovation of the conservatory part of their home in Kent. They did like a bit of extension, and they also did a massive fancy transformation of their kitchen. And I suspect the whole reason why people do this is, one, apart from people's taste and wanting to upgrade their homes, it's usually a wise, somebody say, Kent, Clara. So decision, monetarily, they would think, oh, it would add value to the home and things like that. So anyway, she said they took out finance. Basically, they renovated the kitchen and the conservatory on credit. So they were paying that for that financial, that project on a monthly basis as well. So in case you don't know, people can have a massive transformation of their kitchen, have a new unit, cooker, a grill, all this fancy looking stuff, and then you have to pay monthly. People do that. So they had a kitchen transformation, did some things in the in the home, and then they're paying back on a monthly basis. So the woman sat with the husband and said, okay, let's give back the Range Rover. Husband is paying like £500 plus monthly on the Range Rover. Let's give that back. Because they got kids and where they live in Kent, I can understand, on a more serious note, it's a necessity to have a vehicle that takes you from A to B. So she said, give back the Range Rover. I'll also give up my car, the wife, and said, we'll find a decent, maybe a decent 4x4, fairly used. That's a good car, like a Nissan Qashqai, like a Toyota. Somebody said £500 on a car. Oh, people pay more than that. Amalara, trust me, people, come on, man. People pay a lot more than that. You'll find it surprising. People pay more than that. But I'm coming to that in a moment. People pay more than that on cars, believe me. So the wife said, she proposed that, because they both had, cars. She said, let's give Return your car, I'll return mine. Okay? And let's find a decent, like a Nissan Qashqai, a few years old, that's got a good service history, 4x4. We'll buy that maybe 2.5, 3,000, from a bit of money they can scrape together just to have a car, because they need a car, because where they live and all that, which it's a necessity. If it's a necessity, you got to get from point A to B. The wife said she even proposed that even if it's a bit cheaper than that, she doesn't mind, as long as it's roadworthy and the heater is working, the AC is working, the kids sit comfortably, we can get from point A to B. Now, here is where the battle started. It's a psychological war, right? Husband kicked up a fuss and it became a massive argument. And he said he wasn't prepared to let go of his Range Rover, blah, 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 blah. Ama Yimo, like they say in Yoruba, we'll find a way around it. And the wife said she was looking at the numbers, looking at the spreadsheet. We're in red, we're struggling. She said no. So you're probably thinking, why? So here's the deal. They've built a particular lifestyle, all right? Clearly, they've also made some ugly choices around their finance, right? And in the name of, I'm already known with my Range Rover. Thank you. It's a status statement he's holding on to. Thank you, Adiola. The brother is well known with his range. You can imagine him rolling up in that gorgeous looking autograph. Lovely Range Rover. And for him to drop the key and downsize, it's a major war mentally. Do you understand? So the status symbol, what would my friends say? What would people say? Autobiograph, thank you. So the status symbol, how do I let go? How do I shalaye? People are going to ask questions like, dude, where's your range? What happened? Where's your car? And all that. So wife said, I don't understand why people who buy cars for 40K plus or more without using the damn thing to run a business or use it as a business write-off or run an Uber or deliver makes no sense. Good point, Michael. I'm going to come to that in a moment. So that led to a major argument. Wife said she had already gone to the dealership, dropped her car, and said, drop your car. Let's buy a decent 4x4 or people carrier. I don't care about opinion. Dude couldn't let go because he's moving with a certain, clique of friends. So, anyways, they've got that situation ongoing. Now, there's a bonus story that said I was going to add to this. So the story of another gentleman, I'm going to come back to this story number one. So the story of another gentleman who emailed me before the new year and said, hi, Phrankleen, can you just say my name to know that you recognize me? Hadiza, what's up? Some of you people, man. So anyways, these are the story, right? These gentlemen, he lives in a part of London. He used to live in a particular apartment with a girlfriend. They were building life together. So the agreement was they professed their love for each other, that they were going to get married and they were going to build a life together and all that. But what happened was the relationship ended acrimoniously and the girlfriend abruptly moved out of the apartment. Now, they lived in this one bed apartment in a nice part of London. Pretty expensive, slightly expensive. He said they were paying about 1,005 or 1,006 or something just for the rent monthly. Yeah. So a lot of these boys, they know him. People, know him. That's where he stays. His friends, would come and chill with him and all that stuff. So they moved out. The girl had moved on. Now, this guy said to me that another friend of his who works for a train company, they were catching up, and he told the friend, and the friend advised him to move into a shared house down. If you still want to live in London, downsize to like maybe a room in a shared house where you pay £500 a month or 550 or something like that, so you can keep a bulk of your money. Again, it's a status symbol, right? My boys, my homeboys, what would people say? I'm living in such and such area. I can't be seen living in a shared house. The question is why? Do you understand? So this guy said, Phrankleen, I'm struggling, and he clearly isn't all that well off. Claims to have a decent job. I can only go by, the emails that I get and all that. And he's living in this particular area where the rent alone is about nearly 1,500 quid a month. And he said he's struggling to stay afloat, but he's latching onto the apartment that doesn't even belong to him. He added, he said, bro, I'm not going to lie, said, this is affecting me because there's so many things. He made reference to some of my videos, blah, blah, blah. I suppose that part is to make me have a swollen head, but I don't get moved easily like that. So he said, in line with some of the things you've said in your videos, Phrankleen, I really want to do things back home. He said, but my outgoings are killing me. So the thing is, that flat, I've been there for like 2.5 years, nearly 3 years with my girlfriend, blah, blah, blah. Things went sideways and the girlfriend moved out. He's holding on to it. So that's the story as well. Kind of similar to the other one, right? And let me tell you, man, this is the, trust me, this is the story of a lot of people within the Black community. I think one of the things I really love about this, first of all, it's my first video in live stream, in 2022. And I think it's just nice to use this to challenge, hopefully, the thought process of at least one person watching or listening now. You see, there's something they say in Yoruba for people that know. If you live your life based on what will people say, if you live your life based on wanting the validation of the society, you will absolutely destroy yourself. And it's a prevalent, deeply rooted problem that we have in the Black community. In the Black community, we will rather spend £700-800 on a pair of Balenciaga sneakers. We will spend £500-700 on a pair of Louis, sneakers. We will spend 1,200 on a Gucci satchel. Status symbol, right? We will spend hundreds and hundreds. And a lot of these people, when you unpack it, they're basic, everyday people. We want the Gucci, the Pradas, the Ferragamos, the Armanis. We will pick up these expensive cars, status symbol. We want validation. We want that rubber stamp. We want people, we desperately want people to acknowledge us. And it's killing a lot of us. Oh, it's prevalent in the Black community. Go to most council estate areas, the poor parts of the UK, London, for example, go to Southeast London, go to these council estates. You find a lot of top expensive designers, young girls and boys, Balenciagas, £800 pair of sneakers. You live in the council estate, there's about 7 or 8 of you crammed up in a 2-bedroom flat, in a council flat. Your jacket is a Moncler jacket that's bloody expensive. I'm not even talking about people wearing copies. Status symbol. It's a destruction of the mind. You know, thank you. Somebody said I took off my glasses. Yeah, my eyes are just a bit sweaty. It's prevalent. What will people say? Somebody said £800 from Bata. Oh, come on, man. Sekinat. People wear more than that. Lot more expensive. Lot more expensive. There are people living, and the shocking part is, you see some of these people with the £800 pair of shoes. They wear it twice and then they leave it in the box. They'll tell you, oh, people have seen it. They're looking to buy another one. Some of our mothers and sisters in the Black community, in the, like Nigerian community, what do you think has destroyed a lot of them for years? Why a lot of them that they're terrible with finance? All the earrings, the gold chains, the wrist chains, all the stuff, the headgears and all the clothings they buy for parties every 2 weeks, every 4 weeks. That's why. It's the same thing. They do ridiculous jobs. They wash toilets. They work as carers. Their joints are riddled with arthritis. They're battling diabetes. They can't even stand properly on their feet. Do you understand what I'm saying? They leave for those parties. In the Nigerian community, if their first daughter sneezes, achoo, they want to have a party next Sunday. They always find excuse for ridiculous expenditure. Now, let's tie it back to the story at hand. So here's a guy. I don't have the details of the investment side of things. The only red flag, he didn't discuss that with his wife. You know, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, what the wife's contribution would have been in terms of the decision they would have made, but he didn't tell her, right? He trusted the knowledge of his group of friends. I don't know the details of the particular investment, but of course, the investment went sideways. He lost money, right? Now, there's a situation at hand. You are already struggling. So if you're struggling and your wife gave a proposal, babe, let's give back the Range Rover. Let's at least cut back. You're worried about the status. I couldn't care less. And I'm glad, I'm thankful that that's who I am. I don't care about opinion. In my little time on the face of the earth, my wife would agree with me on this. I've learned some basic principles. You're on your own. If you really want to know how this world is structured, right? There isn't very many people out there that genuinely love you, that rock with you. Oh, you might be enjoying a degree of comfortability. Wait till you hit the rock bottom. Then you will know exactly. Even within your family structure, people don't give a shit. They don't care. They don't care, man. So if you become jobless, you're struggling, you haven't got money and all these things, and you're on your own. So I don't understand the concept of what will people say. If I've lost a lot of money via a poor, maybe investment or financial decision, and I've got family, a wife and kids and stuff, if I have to give back the Range Rover, give it back, man. Of what use is it that I can't put bread on the table for the family? I'm struggling and I'm only interested in flexing in a Range Rover just to carry on making a statement so that the guy down the road can look at me and say, yeah, that's Phrankleen right there. And then what? Do you understand? You're going to lure this up because you're projecting a false impression of yourself. A Range Rover is a status symbol. So imagine I'm genuinely struggling. If I roll up in a Range, it's an expensive car. How do I begin to tell you that I'm struggling? Because you're going to be like, what? Are you taking a piss, Franklin? Like, he drives a Range. How is he poor? Do you understand? Like the other guy, you live in an apartment. It's costing you about 1,000, 200 or 300, £500 a month. Okay, you were splitting the bills with your partner. She bailed out on you. Fine. Stuff happens every day. Downsize. I've always said this, man. It's the money. Nobody cares about the nobody cares about the, what do you call it now? The amount of bills you pay monthly. How much do you have left in your bank account? How much money do you have to your name? That's the main thing. So when some people say, oh, I live in Kent, oh, I live in a 5-bedroom house, great. I'm paying X amount of money for my mortgage. I'm paying this and this for my car. I'm paying that and that for my credit card. I'm paying that loan. The main thing is your disposable income. Thank you, Ayodele. Abalo ababo ilolo kusielo. How much do you have to yourself? Do you understand? I don't care if you have 20 credit cards in your wallet. It's irrelevant. How much do you have to yourself? Do you understand me? The Western system is built on, it's a credit-based system. If you know your ways around it, maybe you're right, but it takes a lot of discipline. But if you get sucked into the credit-based lifestyle, it will eat you up, it will chew you up, and it will spit you out. Parents need to work more on how to educate their children about finance. Rita, that's a good point. But you know what the problem is? You cannot give what you don't have. If you're a parent, as I'm sat here as a parent, if I don't know jack about finance, how do I teach my children? You can't give what you don't have. How do you pass it on? That's the problem. There are a lot of black parents within the black community. When they die, their children end up going on social media to ask the general public via GoFundMe to help pay for their mom and dad's burial. Did you hear what I said? We see that a lot. Some of them, when their parents die abruptly, then they realize that the parents, no savings, no life insurance, no investment. They've just got credit card, bank loans, nothing. The children literally have to turn to the general public to raise money for their dad and mom's burial. I've seen that severally, countless times. So it's a way to start the new year. Since I was introduced to car boot sales some years ago, high street shops been a no-go area. Finance is not taught in schools either. We need to learn this, of course. There are plenty of people in our community that I know people that have, it's not exactly a bad idea if you want to buy a home, you want to get a mortgage, good for you. But there are people, you're going to buy a 5-bedroom house in an expensive area, 4-bedroom detached homes, and you stretch yourself, man. You stretch yourself thin. Some people want to live in Kent. Some want to live in Essex. They want to live in nice areas. As soon as you do a few contracting jobs, boom, the brake pads on your Porsche, sheesh, is enough to build a foundation in Nigeria. Ishi baby, well done, Franklin. Keep up the emancipation of minds. Thank you for the super chat. I see it all the time. The moment that job stops, you're toast. So, take for example, once upon a time, people on here would know what I'm saying. And I'm not having a go at anybody. I'm just saying the truth. Once upon a time, here in the UK, as a contractor, if you're earning maybe business analyst, project manager, any of those contractual roles, right? If you're on £500 a day, 450, 500, 550, 600 and above, you could earn through a limited company with the help of a good accountant. You basically could go around the system whereby your tax liability on a monthly basis is reduced to bare minimum. So the long and short of the whole process is you get to keep a bulk of your earnings, pay yourself dividends. The whole process dance around is still you, but you earn through your limited company. Now, the establishment brought in IR35. Thank you, Troy. People had got away with that for donkey years. Those that were wise were able to stash the built portfolios. They were able to stash good monies. Once upon a time, contractors were clearing 10 grand a month, £9,000 a month, 12 grand a month, and more. Easy work. What happened to people that were not used to that type of money, a lot became cocky. You couldn't tell them jack. They became invincible. The quality of their lives skyrocketed, pow, all the way to the top. They can easily splash £400-500 on a dinner with a couple of friends at the Pinnacle of Shard in central London. Of course, if you're clearing 10, 12 grand a month, easy. Like I said, the smart ones that are financially disciplined, yeah, once upon a time, people were making that much. Come on, man. 10 grand a month, 8 grand, 8.5, 12 grand, yeah, even more. Of course, when IR35 came, we live in England, this is the West. They know that people are killing it. So what did they do? Sir T, thank you for the super chat. Thank you. So what did they do? The taxman blocked all of that avenue. So right now, as I'm sat here, what they've done is they've smashed the contracting world they've damaged it in such a way that as a contractor, you're almost on the same level as someone earning via a permanent role, if that makes sense. So basically, you can no longer earn through those limited company and all them things. So now they're paying what? About 40% of their earnings to the taxman. So imagine somebody who already has a blown out of proportion type of lifestyle. What do you think is going to happen? That's exactly. So for them to adjust, imagine losing 40% of the money. IR35 was a way to finish us making that juicy money. It really sucked. Now I had to go full time. Thank you. I know personally, I know dudes that said to me that, yo, for them, working as a contractor is no longer worth it. It's intentional. It's to cap earnings because the system isn't exactly designed for us to be wealthy. Like I said, for so many years, people got away with that. Those that were financially savvy, those that were disciplined, they stashed, they invested. Lily, thank you. Now, it's one of the things, imagine IRL 35 kicked in, the pandemic, bosh, jobs, bosh. So if you already have a blown out of proportion type of lifestyle, how do you think people are going to cope? That's exactly what's going on. But you notice that our people only pay attention to the job title and monthly income. Someone making 15K a month can be as broke as someone making 3K without good financial management. Of course, Michael, you're right. Everything's about financial discipline. Do you know what's really deadly about those top end jobs, well paid jobs? Don't get me wrong. They are fantastic. They are great. If you put £500 a day, £600 a day into the hands of a human being that's not financially savvy, you're done. There's no way. You cannot begin to coach somebody, and somebody who's not, didn't grow up with financial principles and or discipline. So they able to put together a CV, bish, bash, bosh. They became a business analyst, project manager. They're earning that chunk of money. And then they start seeing £9,000, £10,000, £11,000 a month. And they have zero financial knowledge. Oma Shiwa, they will misbehave. It's like it's intoxication. They have a sense of arrogance in them. They think they're invincible. They will misbehave. They will overspend. You can't tell them jack. Lack of education and exposure. You do not have to buy an expensive car unless the car is making you money. Why can't he rent the car on Turo Ego? It's a lack of financial education. Now, let me say something quickly. This system is designed also in a way. Now, for those that got businesses, if you're financially savvy, in fact, I've seen that myself. Those that have thriving businesses, it could be you have a what do you call it now? You have a food restaurant, selling Nigerian food. It could be you have a grocery store, whatever it is you're running as a business, right? The clever ones, you see them with the top end BMWs, the top end Audis, and the Mercedes AMGs and Range Rover. They don't have personal liabilities for those cars. All of that is done with in full alignment and based on instructions from their good and reliable accountant. So those expenditures, payment for the cars and maintenance, they go into the business as business expenditure. The business directors get paid separately. They do not have personal liability. So should the business go bust tomorrow, bye-bye. You can restart a brand new business separately. Do you understand? I've been there before. I've driven a couple of cars, more than a couple in this country on finance. I'm not on finance anymore. I stopped that a few years back. When you understand thoroughly, right, the personal responsibility for a lot of all this nonsense, because the thing is, if you lose your balance financially, it destroys your credit. They're going to come after you. They're going to come after Mr. Phrankleen. You're going to have blood pressure. They're all sorts. The clever people, there are some of these Asians, I digress. When you look in the Asian community, all these people, There are people in the black community as well, and I don't mean that in a disparaging, as a disparaging comment against us, but if you look at all these people with businesses, they are bloody clever. You can see all these Asians and their big BMWs and top level Range Rover Sport with a 4 exhausts and all that. Go and look at the details on those cars. It's never in a person's name. It goes through business expenditure because that's the way to do it. They never have personal liability for it. I mean, why can't he rent his own car on Turo, turn his liability to an asset if he wants to own an expensive car, but ego won't let him do that? I like what you're saying, never lose Forex FX. Thank you for the super chat. If you're saying that to a regular Nigerian guy, and I don't mean that in a bad way, I'm a Nigerian guy, you're basically denting his ego by asking him to rent his Range Rover, a prized possession. It's a status symbol, you understand? It's just living a lie. Problem isn't about setting up limited company. The issue is IR35 unless you work privately. Of course. Mosh, I get what you're saying. IR35 has destabilized everything. What if I don't have a business and I want to own a nice, good car? That's a good point. You can own a nice car. Of course, you have an awareness that you are you have a personal liability for that. Of course, you can own a nice car in your name if you have a good credit and you have a good job. But of course, you can also own a nice car by not breaking the bank. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's now up to you. It's up to you. You can actually go to the dealership and pick a nice car, and I mean nice car, nothing over the top. There are people that pay car finance £150 a month, £120, 130 quid a month. Yes. It's up to you. IR35 killed a lot of accountants' business as well. Oh yeah, of course. But if you're a talented individual and a former contractor, you should be able to command a decent salary without contracting. I agree. Can I just say, I like that. It's not really about what you command. It's really about financial discipline. I personally, I know dudes, did you hear what I said? That they're smart guys. They're Prince 2 qualified. They are top level programmers. They're tech guys. They are brainy. They know their stuff, right? They've been in the industry for a minute. They work their way. They got their hands dirty. We've got to give it to them. They're smart dudes, right? But all of that is well and good. You can be good on paper in terms of your skill. Thank you, Prince 2, practitioner, agile, scrum, and all of those things. But if you lack financial literacy, that's totally different. He should keep his ego and be poor, traditional African mentality. People who come from nothing should have no ego. So that's what I'm saying. Just like on a final note, to add to this, I was telling my missus not too long ago, there's a guy, I saw him recently at a local barber shop, and he was telling me, he lives somewhere in London, Dulwich Hill area, and he was telling me that, Franklin, I lived in an old style Victorian house that belongs to a rich white man who's got multiple properties, right? And he said, I live in it's a shared house, but the living room part of the house on the ground floor, which is quite vast, quite big, with a very huge, humongous fireplace. So he said he's lived in that house with his wife for I think it'll be 4 years this year. The point the gentleman was making was, they've got 2 children, but their children are in Nigeria with his mom, okay? So they send money on a monthly basis to take care of their children. And they live in that shared room, which is a very big living room. He said, I've been in that house for 4 years. He said, the man is a lovely gentleman. We only pay $450. He said, he's not even bothered with putting up the rest. He said, in other parts of London, That massive room with a high up roof and big windows and all that will probably set them back about 800, 850, or even a bit more in certain areas, right? He said, we just live there. The man doesn't bother us, doesn't disturb us, and all that. Now, the point I'm making is this guy is a bus driver. He's a bus driver in London. He earns good money. His wife works for the NHS. They have good jobs. Now, the guy said, because it's a massive room, we did quite a few shopping from IKEA. We're able to do partitioning, so we have the bed in a particular area. We'll put like a nice couch somewhere, TV, to their taste, and they live comfortably. As I speak, hand on my heart, no word of lie, they are building their second property in Nigeria. They're also planning in 2022 to buy a farmland. They are putting their money to a fantastic use. Are you with me now? Now, if you look at some of their peers, they might live in a 2-bedroom house or apartment or 3-bedroom house. They have a lot more outgoing, right? Look at this couple. So the message here is, cut your coat according to your size. Don't live beyond your means. Don't look at validation. I don't. Some might think I come across as arrogant. I always say, to hell with your opinion. To hell with what you think. Because trust me, man, I don't care. I don't care. I keep making a statement. After all is said and done, it's about how much you have in your pocket. I'm not sat here telling you, if you can afford to have certain taste or pay for certain level of lifestyle, I'm not telling you it's a crime. Life is for living. Enjoy, treat yourself. But to live my life based on what he says, trying to keep up with the Joneses, I don't care. Do you understand? This brother that I'm telling you, he showed me on his mobile phone, this was just before Christmas, and beautiful, beautiful property. Beautiful property. Himself and the wife, they are currently working on the second building project. Never been to their house. I bump into him. Oh, Phrankleen, I'm a fan. They watch my videos. They probably would see this. Because I mentioned Dulwich. He would know that I talked about him, but I've not mentioned his name. He's a good guy. Some people will be far up their own backside. They will have opinion. Don't let people's opinion destroy your life. I can't get my head around why all this nonsensical status crap. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I am an extrovert by nature, but I have an introverted lifestyle. What does that mean? By nature, I'm quite articulate. I'm a very expressive person. I can talk, I can laugh, I'm stuff like that. But in terms of my daily life, I am an introvert. I don't have like a team, a bunch of friends we're going in and out with. I don't live that kind of life. So I know. I love the idea I can afford my own drinks, my food, and things I want to do between me and my missus, my life, my family. That's me, man. I don't care about opinion. I am very, very comfortable in my skin. Abalo ababo, ilolo kusi elapo. I love cycling. I have a bike. It blows my mind. I've met some Nigerians in the past. I have a lovely bike. I went to buy it from a bike shop, and I had somebody said, Phrankleen, a big boy like you. And I was furious. What do you mean big boy? Can you two more big boy? I love cycling, keke. And they were trying to say, oh no, I can't be seen in London on a bicycle. Do you know, in the black community, there are persons, very warped mindset, that think you being on a bike indicates poverty. Because I like to cycle. So it indicates poverty. What do you do to Buru? Because the average Nigerian guy expects me to latch desperately on my steering wheel and sit with a pot belly. And when I come down in my native and with my baritone and, shaking my car keys and all that crap, status symbol. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Troy. They think, oh, this guy fell off. Ah, that's the guy. I see him on YouTube. I would like, Kekego, man. Oh, God, Yanjaba boy. What do you have to do? Only if you know. Yawalonja. And do you know what's funny about the jokers? If I come knocking, Phrankleen, I really love you, my brother. I love what you are doing. Keep up the good work. If I come knocking on your door tomorrow, let's say you know me on a personal level, and I say, bro, man, things are rough. The first time you give me a little 50 pounds, that's even too much. And I come knocking again 2 days later. Lily, thank you for joining the channel membership. Thank you. I see you. Thank you. And I come knocking again, asking you for tomatoes, pepper, or salt. You're going to block my number. Some of you are cold, man. The moment that Phrankleen guy, this motherfucker, this guy is asking me for, block the same people that have an opinion about your choices from a distance. The same people that you are desperately trying to please. They will let you know where the wind blows from. Fact. Even some of you watching me right now, the moment I start to say, there's a little issue, the moment you start saying, my brother, can I see a little, can you help me with the average black man is like, hey, yo, Phrankleen, Akpade, let's say Jesus. Fact. You'll avoid me like a plague. So I don't understand why people desperately want to please other people, man. Live within your means. Live in your truth, man. There's nowhere you want to go in the UK. Facts. Oh, let's go for a meal at the top of Shard. I don't come with my money, my wallet. Because I don't forget. I just might yak bear down on it. Because I bear me to money go and be seated. Facts. There's no grown man like me. Oh, Phrankleen, can we converge at the Savoy in central London? Can we meet for lunch in Selfridges? Whatever. Let's go. I'll bring my bread. I'm okay. I've got my money. I'll pay. In a few hours, we both will be sitting on the toilet and poop out the leftover of what we paid for. Don't live your life to please people, man. Please, don't. Don't do that to yourself. I know some people are psychologically damaged. I hope you find remedy. What would they say? That's why you see some black folks, man, they're totally destroyed in their minds. This is a plain polo shirt that I'm wearing. It doesn't say Ralph Lauren. If I want to wear a Ralph shirt, I can. But it's got to say noisy Gucci. It's got to say the big, bold Armani. It's got to have a very loud LV. The trousers got to say Prada from the waistline to the toes, man. You're destroyed by materialism. Status symbol. If it's not loud and blinding, if it's not blinding from 10 miles away that they can see that, oh, that's Phrankleen coming. Oh my God, that Armani shirt is so loud. You've not dressed up. It's that nonsensical status symbol. If your Gucci shirt has not cost, if it's not caused a car accident, you've not dressed. Some of you even, you get out of your way to make sure that you buy, grade A China version of the Gucci just to make a goddamn statement. Somebody gave me a super chat earlier. Let me see. I think I missed that. Let me see. I swear somebody gave me a super chat. Me? Abojumini. Oh, maybe. But anyway, thank you for the super chat so far. You know, it's a brand new year, man. The only thing I'll say to that lady, the other story, is hopefully your man will listen. He has a bit of a coconut head. Hopefully he would listen. I don't know if you have the ability to return the Range Rover without him knowing. Do some. Let the people know. You see, the same people that the useless man is trying to impress. Let people know that your family is struggling. You're not asking them for money, but ask them to help you talk sense into him so that he can return. He will, it will get yourself ready for a bit of. You will bruise his ego, but you only lati to sit. So you play the game in a way that you ring fence him. The same people, so-called friends, push his business out and say he's turned his back against his family because of you, friends, because of the adopted status symbol. Those friends will back off and say, dude, man, give the range, man. They just, hey, man, doesn't matter, man. So maybe he will come to his right senses and be able to do the right thing. Franklin, sometimes it's important to have a good work-life balance. Enjoy it whilst... Hey, David, good point. The message here, this is not a campaign saying don't enjoy. Don't get me wrong, I love to enjoy myself. I love to treat myself. If you can afford a first-class flight, if you can truly afford a business class flight, even if you offer me a first-class ticket, you think I'm going to say no? No, I'll take it. This is not anti-enjoyment, as long as you do things within reasonable parameters. But you can't afford a lifestyle. Do you understand? You are putting up a facade, a smoke screen. You're driving a Range Rover. Do you know there's some people in this diaspora? Before I go, let me tell you this honestly. There are people that drive expensive cars on finance. If there is a scratch on the car's fenders or the painting on the body or something, they don't have extras to do the body work. They don't have extras to fix it. I know someone, was it last year, that got a bill to replace the set of brake pads on his top-level BMW after going through an MOT test, and he couldn't afford it because they're bloody expensive. He took it to, I think, BMW dealership. It's a top-level BMW, and at the time, the guy was struggling. He showed me on his phone. The bill is eye-watering. He couldn't afford it. Facts. Nigerians are naturally extravagant, materialistic in their lifestyle. I know people who have taken loans, celebrate 40th, 50th birthdays, and left that useless lifestyle years ago. You're right. Trust me. I think these pleasing people come from lack of education and the tricky relationship we have with our parents. Most African parents never acknowledge the good deed of their children. DF, thank you. Yeah, it's a foundational problem. It's deeply rooted. It's a vicious cycle. That's why I was saying, I'm not going to lie to you. If I use myself as an example, my parents didn't teach me jack about finance. Did you hear what I said? That's why I keep telling you, I am not that guy that comes on here scripted, or I'm saying something for self-aggrandizement, or because I want you to clap for me or pat me on the back. I don't do that. If I tell you a bit about my own journey, my parents didn't teach me jack about finance. I figured out through life. And this is after making some blunders myself. How about that? That's my truth. So when you see me sat here talking passionately, I'm not saying it like some kind of cliche type of YouTube video, or this guy is trying to come across like some kind of know-it-all. No. My own parents, they're still alive. They didn't teach me jack about finance. Did you hear what I said? Not even the rudimentary understanding. Finance 101. Dear baby Phrankleen, if you have £2, you put £1 in that jar. Nope. I had to wade through the waters of life. Made my own mistakes. Got burnt. Learned. We're still learning. Fact. Same here, Phrankleen. I learned my lesson before I realized how to manage capital. Sakinat, thank you. Financing a top-of-the-range car is expensive, especially if you're a reckless driver. Finance companies are very strict and they will charge you for any minor damages. You're right, Gary. Hey, Phrankleen, many African parents don't have any good financial education. Yeah, they should shout louder. Maybe the police will come and arrest the car. Some people don't learn at all. Great job, bro. Blessings and Godspeed. So, yeah, I wish you an amazing 2022. I'm fired up. I hope you're fired up. Let's get on this boat together, and hopefully, you know, we make something fantastic out of this wonderful and brand new year. So thank you for all the eyeballs and eardrums that have been watching me all through 2021 and before then. For those of you that are watching me now, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Once again, Happy New Year. Thank you for watching me. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for joining my membership. I appreciate you. And yeah, if you want to send me your story, bang me your stories to foodchannel1960@gmail.com. Email me stories or any trending topics that you think Phrankleen can react to, man. I want to bang out more content this year. I want to blow up this channel. Avery, T, Jacobs, Mosali, and everybody involved. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day, your evening, afternoon, wherever you are. Peace and love, man. Bye now.